Hi Rose! Today I'm going to be doing the first part of a two-part video on booking your Disney holiday. This is going to kind of relate more to Walt Disney World, but it can also be applied to any Disney park, so Disneyland, Disneyland Paris. The first part's going to be about things to do before you actually book your holiday. The second part is going to be more what you're actually going to do while you're there, so stuff like fast passes, etc, etc. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you go to book a Disney holiday, or whether you're thinking about booking a Disney holiday, is firstly set a budget, and secondly decide when you're going to go. So when can you get time off work? If you've got kids, when are the kids off school, or are you willing to bring the kids out of school? Also look at what the time of year you want to go. So look at the weather. Do you want to go when it's hot? Do you want to go when it's a bit cooler? Especially this applies to other Disney parks, so Disneyland Paris. What time of year do you want to go? Because in winter it can get pretty cold, whereas in summer it can be warm, just like it is in Britain really, though warm in Britain. For Disney World, it is warm mostly all year round, apart from a little bit around December and January. It can get a little bit cooler. But with then also look at seasons. Do you want to go during Halloween? Do you want to go during Christmas? Do you want to go during Easter? The biggest tip I would recommend, if you're not that fussed on when you want to go, or you've got a kind of a little bit of a time frame in mind, look at online crowd calendars. There is so many online. I would highly recommend looking at off-peak seasons if stuff like school holidays aren't a thing for you. It is so much more crowded in summer as opposed to when it's off-peak. So definitely looking at the crowd calendars, looking when there's events on, so Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, the Christmas parties, food and wine festivals, flower and garden festivals. Look at the events which are on. For Disneyland Paris, you've got the Frozen Summer, which is coming. Disneyland Resort, again, you've got Frozen events which are going on. You've got, again, the Mickey Not So Scary Halloween parties and all of that. I'm not too sure about Hong Kong and Tokyo, but definitely research online for what events there is coming. So now you've decided when you want to go, you've decided kind of a rough date, not precise. So the next thing you're going to do is who's going. Is it going to be you and your partner, you and your kids, you and grandparents? So find out who's going and then look at which would be the best options for how many people are going, which would be, say, the more cost-effective options. Not necessarily the cheapest if you want to stay in a deluxe hotel, but which are the more cost-effective options. So if there is more of you, it might be cheaper getting a villa, or if you want to stay on Disney property, get one of the Disney villas or the Disney family rooms. But if there is only two of you, or if you're going with your kids, then it'd be better just getting the one room, as there is 2 double beds in each room. In America, it's more per room than per person. There can be a bit of a subsidiary if you've got an extra person coming, or if there is more people, but it is generally per room. You know when you're going, you know your budget, you know how many people are going. So next you want to look at which hotel do you want to stay at. Do you want to stay on site? Do you want to stay off site? As I said about the villas, do you want to stay in a Disney villa? Do you want to stay in a villa off site? If you are staying off site, rent a car. It is so much easier. I'll speak about that a little bit more in a sec. But if you want to stay on site, which hotel do you want to stay at? You have the budget option, which is the cheapest. That's hotels such as Art of Animation, Pop Century, the All Stars. Next you've got moderate, which is Port Orleans, Caribbean Beach, them kind of hotels. And then you have the deluxe. That's Yacht and Beach Club, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, the expensive ones, or the posher ones. So look for the hotels which are in your budget. See if there's any freebies that come along with them. So at certain times of year they have dining plan deals where if you stay in a moderate or above you get a free dining plan. So if you stay in a moderate you'd get a free quick service dining plan, and if you stay in a deluxe you'd get a free full service dining plan. So look into what deals come with each section. Sometimes moderates are just a little bit more expensive than the budgets, sometimes miles expensive. What I prefer to do is kind of have a few options available for where I want to stay, and I'll look online to see what the cost is. So next thing to do is where are you going to book your holiday? Who are you going to book it through? Are you going to book it as a package? Are you going to book it separately? I prefer to book things as a package because I'd rather everything be all together than we book flights separately, this separately, that separately, and it just confused me a little bit then. So I prefer to book a package. So what website are you going to use? The best ones that I've found, and the best ones that my friends have found who have been, are the Walt Disney World website itself and the Virgin website. They can have deals on, like summer deals and stuff. There's also a few other sites, such as I used one last time called Holiday Genie, and I stayed off-site with this one. It was flights, it was accommodation, and it was pretty cheap as well. So keep all that in mind. There's a lot of other sites like Holiday Genie which are floating around, but what you need to do is get uploads of tabs on your computer. This is better than booking a travel agent, I think, because travel agents charge a fee and they're just more expensive, I've found. Every time I've gone in for a quote, it's been way more expensive. So it's better to get uploads of tabs on your computer, compare prices, compare dates. If you're more flexible with dates, so you've not had to book time off work, then you can check different dates, what days are cheaper to fly on. A thing to consider if you're staying off-site is transport. How are you going to get to the Disney parks? Is there a shuttle provided? A lot of off-site hotels do provide shuttles these days to either Universal or Disney. So does it provide a shuttle? Are you going to get a rental car? If you're under 25, you will get charged a young person's fee to hire a rental car. So if you're over 25, I'd recommend it more, as it's really cheap to hire and you can get anywhere. Plus you can park for free in downtown Disney, so you don't have to pay for parking in like Magic Kingdom or something. The other option is public transport. Now, public transport in Orlando isn't the best. They have the Lynx buses and they have the iRide, but I've found everything in Florida is like spread out, so you really need a car to get anywhere. The locals, most of them generally have a car because the buses are just terrible. Like the Lynx bus, you can get the Lynx bus from the TTC, and we got bus, I think it was bus 56. Check this yourselves because I can't quite remember, but the bus took us from the TTC all the way to near SeaWorld, and our hotel was round the corner from SeaWorld. But if you want to get a bus more down International Drive, then you'd have to get that one to SeaWorld, then you'd have to transfer to the number 8 bus, which goes more down International Drive, I think. But they also only run to a certain time, so if you want to stay in the parks later, then you have to see what the times are. I think the last Lynx bus was at 12 o'clock, but take into account that you've got queues coming out of Magic Kingdom. The monorail will be full, buses get full, so just take all of that into account to make sure you don't pay over the odds for a taxi, because I think taxi fare to International Drive is like $40 or something. It cost us $40 to get from Universal to Pop Century, so about that price. The thing with planning a Disney trip is it can seem very daunting and very overwhelming, especially booking it. Like we've just booked Disneyland Paris and we did do a load of comparisons of different hotels, different websites, and we spent a long time comparing prices. Now we're going on a budget. We're staying at Santa Fe, which is one of the budget hotels in Disneyland Paris. We managed to get it for £250 each for 2 of us. That wasn't including flights. We booked our flights separately because it worked out cheaper that way. And plus we didn't have as much money at the time, so we wanted to kind of spread the cost a little bit more. And that's our park tickets for 5 days. For 4 nights, £250. That's also with the Yes Days deal as well, so we get 2 nights free. So that's not too bad. For Disneyland Paris booking, I would recommend looking at the offers that are on for the Yes Days, especially if you want to stay in a Disney hotel, because Disneyland Paris can be so expensive. Half the time it's just worth going to Florida instead because of the price. So look out for the Yes Day deals, which they have on a lot. Look out for the free nights, free days, 30% off, 50% off deals they have for Paris. And also if you book a Paris hotel, then generally you get your part tickets with the hotel, so that's in with the price. Whereas in Walt Disney World you don't. You have to buy your part tickets separately, which can increasingly up the cost, as it's like nearly £300 for 2 weeks of the park hoppers. So that's where you can get to the water parks and all the theme parks, which is a bit ridiculous. Like I think it's way overpriced, but I guess it is Disney World. It's got a lot of parks. I pay it. I love Disney. I'm sorry if this video seemed kind of a jumble. I hope it kind of helped get your planning sorted. I'm going to pop my list in the description bar of things you should focus on before you book and things you should look for. And I guess I'll also make it flash across the screen now. If you have any questions at all, do leave me a comment down below and I'll try my best to answer them or give you any, if you need any advice on anything, then just let me know. And next video I will be looking at stuff like fast passes, My Magic Plus, advanced dining reservations, looking more in detail at crowd calendars for specific parks on specific days when you're choosing what park to go to for what day, ride closures, stuff like that, things for when you're actually there. Anyway, hope this video was helpful and bye! So beautiful.